Do we have volume? Are we live? Let's just see if we got some volume. Hello, hello, hello. Let's just see if we got some volume. Okay. Sorry about that. So, tonight's live is all about decoupaging on a dark surface. We brought it right to where we're supposed to begin. For anyone watching the replay, this is going to make it easy to find this section now, thanks to my daughter calling. Sorry about that. I am so sorry. I even have the do not disturb on my phone, but it still came through. I apologize. Okay. So for the sake of this one, because I wanted something that's really light so that you can see how it's going on the dark surface, I've chose this guy because he's really light and bright, just like the other project that I did with the other puppy. So I've already cut my squares up. I'm going to remove my backers. That one came off nice. 2 sheets came off together. So I'm going to show you something. If you were to decoupage him down, can you see how dingy he looks? Can you see that? In fact, we will go ahead and we will decoupage one down, but I want to put some speckles in the background first. So, let's do this. Offload just a little bit. Let's hope I don't get this on myself because this one does stain. So I just put some little gold speckles on there with a toothbrush. Just with a little, doesn't have to be a kid's toothbrush. It's just I had an extra one in the cupboard. Okay. And I'll go ahead and I'll do it to the other one too, so that both projects are the same. Whew, that one speckled my face. I felt that. So we got some speckles on there. It just adds some interest in the background. But I felt that. I've got speckles on my forehead. Gold dust. And I've got no comments. Oh, wait, here we go. All good now. She's back. Everybody's back. Where did you get the other dark background dog project? What do you mean, where did I get the other? Oh, where did I do it? I didn't do it live. That was me playing around trying to figure out how to use a dark surface. I didn't do that live. Because at that point, I wasn't sure if it was going to work. It was just something that I thought. I'd never seen anyone do it. And I was so sick of hearing it had to be light and bright. And I was like, there has to be a way. So I sometimes sit in here in the studio and just play with ideas. And a lot of times it's just a big hot mess. And sometimes they turn out and then I share them with you guys. Sometimes I remember to turn on my overhead camera so that it records it so that we have, you know, a video of it. But that one I didn't. That one was just literally trying things over and over again, trying to figure out how to do it. It was one of my days that I was very determined to make it work. And so I've come up with 2 ways. Just make sure we are dry. Okay. So I went ahead and did my water pen and did one of my puppies ahead of time, just to save some time because we're going to be doing this a few times tonight. And I'm going to take some Mod Podge. And I'm going to cover my whole surface because I'm going to want it sealed anyways. And this way I know it's definitely going to have Mod Podge on where the puppy goes down. So just a nice coat of Mod Podge over it. And again, I prefer matte for anyone that missed the other lives. I do prefer matte. It just dries nicer, I find. It doesn't have a sheen as much as like the gloss and stuff, but it doesn't stay sticky. So that's what I like about it. Where some of them definitely have a tacky feel to them. Okay. Now I'm going to dry this up. What I was speckling with was gold paint. Whoops, and a toothbrush. That puppy wants to run away on me. It's called Treasured Gold. Whoops, turned it the wrong way. Treasured Gold. It's one of my favorite golds. The other one that I really like, this is an acrylic, I believe. Doesn't really say, but I believe it's acrylic paint. There is another one that I love, but it's an oil paint, and I only got to use it once. And then my lid got stuck shut because I didn't clean my edges and put Vaseline on my edges. It's a beautiful gold. Like, it looks like real gold. In fact, it is Liquid Leaf Classic Gold. But I didn't clean up my edges of my jar. I used it once, and I can't get it open. And that stuff's quite expensive. I'm a little disappointed by that. I'm determined. One of these days I'll figure out how to get that lid open. But I've tried hot water. I've tried cold water. I've tried using a wrench. I just can't get that container open. Once that liquid leaf hardened, I tell you, it hardened really well. So you can see as it's drying, it's going clear. If you're going to decoupage on a canvas bag, fabric Mod Podge, yeah. Leave it dry for, like, you're going to apply your fabric Mod Podge just like I did the shoes in the sorority. So you're going to put it on with your top coat on it. You're going to let that dry for 3 hours. You're going to put another coat on, let it dry for 1 hour, another coat, let it dry for 1 hour, and then one more coat. And then it should dry, but it does take a couple days to get rid of that tacky feel. And even then, it's going to still have a, can you hear it? A slight tackiness to it. It doesn't seem to go away. But I am going to try a canvas bag. I even put a top coat after that of my matte to see if that would get rid of that tacky feel, but it didn't. So, and then I was on the Mod Podge page. Martha, are you in here? Because I just got a message from you. You're in the sorority. I think you went to the wrong spot, sweetie. Or you're messaging me in the wrong spot. Okay, so it's dry. What was I saying? I can't remember what I was saying now. I hope it wasn't important. Heat it with my heat gun? The shoes? Chrissy, is that what you're saying? Will that get rid of the tackiness? I don't want to bubble it. So I was just following what Mod Podge had actually said on their site. Okay, my puppy. So I'm going to set my puppy on here, and you're going to see how he doesn't look very good this way. But we're going to be able to fix him. Parchment paper. I had it a second ago. Holy Hannah, guys. I got another roll. Martha finds us. But she's in the sorority now looking for us. Or so Facebook says. Okay, I have a little tear in him, but I think it's going to be okay. I'm just going to press it down into there. So, you've got your little puppy cut out. You're going to put your parchment paper, not wax paper, on top. Oh, oh, oh. The iron's not on. Oh my goodness. Staying up till 10 o'clock at night is playing its toll on me. So while I'm waiting for that, I'll just go ahead and I'll finish using the water pen and doing this. So when I use the water pen around these guys, because they're hairy, see the little hairs that stick out? And I don't want a lot of that white background, because that will definitely show up on your background. I'm actually going to put my finger down and I'm going to pull just the edge of the actual beige or brown hair away. Just the very edge. See if I can show you in just a sec. But you got to be very delicate with this because you don't want any of that white background, okay? So, can you see on the part that's tearing away, it's got a little bit of that brown edge to it? Because I don't want any white. So this is something that you really have to take your time and do carefully. That's why I went ahead and I did one earlier, because I was like, this could take a while doing 2 of these. I find it very relaxing, except for when I'm live and I'm like, oh, people are waiting for me just to move along. And then I feel bad. But you got to see that it does take patience, and you do have to take your time. If I did it all ahead of time to, you know, save you the agony of watching it, you wouldn't know. And you'd be like, how come hers ripped this way and ours didn't? So it's necessary. You're just going to have patience for me. So I'm trying to pull a tiny bit of his little edge of hair with it. And no matter if this was a hairy project or a not hairy one, you'd want to take just a tiny bit of that outside edge with you. And guys, this is something that you will not see me do, at least not for quite a while, on the regular Facebook page. It's something that I'm leaving just for our knowledge in here. It's not public knowledge, or in the sorority. I don't want everybody doing it. I feel like you guys paid to see this. The rest of the world did not, so we're going to keep this amongst us. Just a little bit of white right there. So there we go. Still a tiny bit of white there, but I think that's going to be okay. No, it's going to bug me. I'm going to remove that little tiny bit too. There we go. Okay. We should be hot. Parchment paper. So again, I'm going to lie my parchment paper on top. Is that where I want him? It doesn't look very straight. How is he on the... I think he's more like that. Make that paw come down to the edge and his ear come up to the other edge. Make sure I got it all flat. Make sure his tail is unbent. I'm going to grab my little iron. You found a burlap canvas at Dollar Tree. Ooh, lucky you. I haven't seen a good one anywhere. Mind you, I don't leave the house that much. Okay, now I want you to see this. Because I have Mod Podged the whole area, you are going to see that this is going to stick a little bit down, but just peel it back gently, and it's going to be okay. So this is what he looks like on a dark surface. And these little spots right here is just where it's been ironed. Once it all dries, you won't even notice that, okay? It just has to come back up to temperature, and if you have to, we can touch it up with some blue paint, but see how he doesn't really pop? Let me grab the other one so you can see how well the other one pops. Whoops, I just stepped on some Totally Dazzled. Okay. See how well that one pops compared to this one? He's just like, it's okay, but he's kind of dingy. And I can show you on the napkins. There's the difference in the napkins. So he is a lighter color, but I want him to pop a lot more. So what we're going to do, we're going to set that one aside, set that one aside. I'm going to take a piece of printer paper, just normal printer paper. And I'm going to take some Mod Podge. Now, you don't want to use cardstock for this because it's going to be a little thick. Normal printer paper works best for this part. That's probably big enough. I'm going to dry it again because I don't want any wrinkles in him. He is adorable. Yes, he is. Now this one, I have seen somebody do something like this. They did it with the cardstock, and that's what kind of gave me the idea of the printer paper. Because at the end, she was like, it's kind of like, it's okay, but there's kind of a rough edge. And it kind of looked like a sticker on top. Where I decided to try it with the printer paper. And I thought it was a little bit better. But then what I'm going to do over there is the one that I really like. The method I really like. So. Are we all glued down? We are. So now you would take your little scissors and you're going to fussy cut them out. And I should have done one of these ahead of time. Here, let me take the big scissors and get rid of a lot of the excess first. I'm going to save that ladybug though. He'll be cute for another project for my junk journaling or something like that. Okay, so you're going to sit there and you're going to fussy cut this whole thing out. And that's where these little snips come in so handy. Has anyone ordered the new snips? Or have you already got them? Maybe you already owned them before this. If you're into scrapbooking, you probably had a pair of these. I don't think the water pencil, although it would be much faster if it would work, I don't think it would work well on this. I don't think you could tear the paper properly. I will try in a second, but I don't think so. I don't think it'll even penetrate past that glue layer. No, it won't work. So this method here works really well if you have a lot of straight lines. I don't like it so much for this where he's hairy because I'm going to lose a lot of that texture, right, around him. To sit there and fringe this whole thing out would be agony for me. I'm not patient enough for this. You have them and you love them. Oh yeah, they're awesome, right? You do card making. Ooh, I'd love to see some of the stuff that you make. Do you have a page or do you share it on your regular page? Or do you share it at all? How many of you have a crafting page or some sort of business page? Anybody here? You ordered the pens that we used last night. Wasn't able to order from you because the item was unable to, this silly Amazon Canadian to US thing, right? I forgot about that. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It is, the Amazon link is apparently good for both sides, but I don't, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's, you know, electronics for us. So yeah, I'm going to lose quite a few of his little hairs because I'm not going to sit there and fussy cut every little hair out. You're going to love those pens though. Just for the fact of you can top coat and they're not going to run. That is a big thing because it was always a pain in the butt. Like Poscas, I love Poscas. Do you guys know what Poscas are? Poscas are an acrylic paint pen and I use them a lot. But I find that like if you were to do writing or anything like that, they run like crazy if you're brushing on a top coat. So guys, there was one other project that I was hoping to get to on Monday night that we didn't get to. Anybody know what that was? Is there something that you would have liked to have seen that we missed? I didn't get to it. We ran out of time. It was 2 hours. My voice was starting to go. And I was getting a little tuckered out. I don't know if I'll do it live again. But if they wanted to watch it on the replay, it's still available on the website on the replays. But I don't know if I'll do it again. It won't be the same. Well, that's the whole thing, right? If I did it over again, it definitely won't be identical. I'm not that great. I couldn't do it identical. I could do it similar, but there's no guarantee that they're going to get all the same info that we got this time. The same way there's no guarantee that if you watch this one that you'll get all the same info that you get in the next one, right? Because I'm just human and, you know, I don't have a whole dialogue planned out. So I have been asked before on if I'll do it again. I don't mind doing it again, but I don't want to offend the people that are in here this time if I do it next time and I'm like, oh, guess what? I realized this, or, you know, I added some extra details or forgot details and those people feel bad. That's the problem. I worry about what people think too much. Mind you, you know. And $10, let's be honest, I could have charged a lot more. 3 nights for $10. I'm giving out a lot of information. And this has been a lot of work. It has. It doesn't look like a lot of work. I'm sure that, you know, I just pop on and I craft with these, right? But it's a lot of planning ahead of time. It was a lot of organizing the boxes for those that wanted the kits. It's 6 hours of evenings away from the kids. It's a lot. This is the first workshop that I've done online. And it is a lot. But I don't know. I'm not sure. But I know that some people signed up today and they're still not in here. That looks a little too blunt on his head. I'm going to have to splice that a little bit. Just fringe it or something. Because his head looks just a little too round for me. So I'm not even following the hairlines at this point. I'm just pulling out little flecks, trying to give him some shapes here. Anyways, you guys catch the drift, okay? So you would have it out like this. You did. You got a heck of a deal for $10. My mentoring group, I have a group that, you know, helps me out with learning new tips and techniques, not with crafting, but with how to do online stuff, right? And when I said, I'm doing a workshop, and they're like, yay, you're finally doing a workshop. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, what'd you charge? And I was like, $10. And they're like, oh, that's not bad for an hour. And I was like, no, I'm doing 3 nights. And they were like, are you insane? And I was like, but I want everybody to know this stuff. If I charged too much and you didn't know me, you wouldn't have signed up, right? That was my thinking. And I don't know. For my first workshop, I didn't want just to be disappointed if I didn't live up to the hype. I worry about these things. It's the same way our sorority group. It's $24 Canadian, which I think is like $18 or $19. And all the other people that I know that do those kind of groups are like charging, you know, some of them are $50, $60 a month. And I'm like, oh no, I wouldn't charge someone that much to watch me. I like to make it, you know, crafting's supposed to be affordable. It's not supposed to be something that's costing us an arm and a leg to do. So there we go. I've stuck Mod Podge on the back. Oh, thank you so much. The replays, provided Facebook lets us have them up there for, you know, have this group there for a long time. I'm hoping that it's a year. That's what I was told, that they would stay on there for a year. Missed the edge of his tail there. Okay. So there we go. And he pops. And he's pretty flat. He's not too bad, okay? This is not the genius method. This is the way that I don't like as much, guys. Wait till you see the next one. So then you'll apply a top coat on there just to make sure that he's stuck down really well, okay? And this way you also see if any little edges are going to curl up. I got way better than this because I did this method and I was like, it's okay. but it wasn't quite what I wanted. Now remember, when you're going over the dog, always try and go outwards, because even though he's Mod Podged onto paper, he might curl up a bit. But you do want to kind of tap in there and make sure you got those edges really good, okay? So I hope you guys have enjoyed this and that you're finding that you're learning lots, and I'm going slow enough of a pace that, you know, you guys are grasping it all, but yet fast enough that you're not bored into, you know, falling asleep there, because that wasn't the plan. The flecks I used on the background, I used gold paint and I used a toothbrush to put the flecks. I just think it adds a little contrast. Also beautiful if you're painting night skies and stuff like that. Okay. So now it's all Mod Podged on. It's a little cloudy, but once it dries, it'll be cute. Okay. Let's go to the good method now. I'm going to grab my glasses for this, okay? Yeah, I used a child's toothbrush, so it's not really that stiff of a toothbrush. Not that you have to use a child's toothbrush, but I just used a kid's toothbrush. They have shorter bristles than a lot of other toothbrushes. It's also just what I had in the cupboard. So I'm going to shut off that arm before I burn myself. Okay, so here's where things get fun. I'm going to grab some white paint. And I'm going to grab a paintbrush. Am I out of tiny paintbrushes? Did I use them all? This is how those paintbrushes come, guys, when you buy them on Amazon. They come in a big bag. And at first I was going to, you know, put some on the website for you. Not necessarily you guys, but for customers. And then I thought, no, I like these paintbrushes. And if you guys wanted them, you're going to want more than one too. So just buy a big bundle of them. So yeah, get serious when I get the glasses or the torch out. Okay, so I'm going to grab a small paintbrush. I'm also going to reach over here and grab a teeny tiny one for if I need it. And I'm going to paint my dog. We're going to totally cover up that poor puppy. And I'm not going to worry about going too close to the edge at this point. I can go in there if I need to with the smaller brush. But I also find with hairy things like this puppy, that if you leave a little bit of the fringe along the outside edge, it's going to look better. So for those of you that are watching, if you have a craft page, I would like to ask at this point, if you do not use this method live, because this is my secret. You guys can craft like this all you want, but just don't do this one live. I can't stop you, but I can ask you. If you don't mind. It's not like I have a patent on it or anything, but I feel pretty proud of this method right now. Because I haven't seen anybody else do this. And it's not too often I think of a genius thing. Actually, I think of some good stuff quite often, but this one I'm really quite stinking happy with. I'm gonna have to get a little brush in there. I kind of get my little evil giggle out when I hear somebody say, you have to do it on light and bright. It makes it pop. And I'm like, hee 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 hee. If only you knew. My little sinister side of me. And as you can tell, I'm not worried about, you know, how great of a paint job it is, just as long as I stay on that napkin. It's all going to work out fine. And now with this little brush and just the tiniest bit of paint, I'm just kind of pushing it outwards, just so it's not so blunt. Just because puppy hair would be, you know, a little more floofy. All right, there's my masterpiece. Doesn't look like much, does it? Okay, so this dog napkin. Let me talk to you about this dog napkin. Make sure you take notice of this before you go cutting out your pieces, okay? If you're using a napkin like this that has 4 panels, some of them are opposites. So you'll want to make sure you have the 2 matching dogs that are facing in the same direction, okay? And I'm making sure I did grab the right one, because that would be really bad if I didn't. I'd have to cut out a whole nother one. So now I'm just going to dry this up. Hey, I got messages up top. Is it down here too? Yeah. Cool. Okay, so this was the one that we papered. And this one, we just decoupaged him straight on to... You have no idea where I'm going with this? Really? See, to me, I could see it all in my head ahead of time, right? So I figured as soon as I was doing that, oh, see what I'm doing? Grab a baby wipe, quick. And that's why it's good that we have it sealed. Make sure I got no paint on my fingers. I have stick fast all over my fingers. See all the white stuff? That's not paint. That is stick fast because I couldn't get the lid. I couldn't get the lid opened on it, so I kind of took my scissors like I usually do and hacked at the top of it, and it exploded on me, and I've got like stick fast down here, all under my nails. My fingernails were totally glued down to my fingertips. It was a hot mess. It was really bad. I'm looking for Mod Podge. Now I'm going to Mod Podge over top of all this again. You might get a couple wrinkles, guys, because you are layering, but I'm okay with it. Especially on something that's a puppy or a cow or a, you know, an animal that would have some texture to them anyways. Okay. The heat gun works good to get the covers off of the glue. I don't know if I would heat up Stick Fast. It's pretty foul smelling in the first place. Did I miss any other questions? The torch scares you. Does it scare you when I do it too? Like, I know it makes my husband cringe a little bit. He's like, you didn't even have water handy. Come on, Ange. I'm like, eh. Now this is getting pretty thick with Mod Podge, so it does take a little bit of time. Okay, and I'm going to be honest, right at this moment, see this smudge right here? I'm kind of hoping that is Mod Podge that's not dry yet and not wet paint that's smudged. I'm just going to say it. I get nervous too, guys. Because I look at that and I'm like, oh, I hope that's glue that's just not dry yet. Otherwise, I've got to touch up the background. I think it is. I hope it is. We will see. I have patience with some things. Some things. Fussy cutting, not so much. I'm just trying to cool this off a bit. Some things I'm very patient with. Paint by numbers, I'm not patient with that. I love to paint, but not paint by numbers. Yeah, that might be white paint, guys. I might have hit a spot that wasn't totally dry. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's fixable. I don't know if you guys noticed this, a little off track, but I colored my hair today. And I got a little distracted because I was setting up stuff in here and tidying up. I left it on for a little too long and it's really dark and it's making my skin look a different color. Every time I look up, I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope that fades. It's a little dark. Yeah, I would say I smudged some paint. I might have to touch that up. Okay. Oh, my puppy's on my lap. So then we are going to line him up. And you got to make sure he's lined up perfectly, guys. I'm going to work from this angle so I can see it better. And I'm going to grab my... I don't know why I shut that off. I shouldn't have shut that off. It's still warm, but... So that's just to hold him down in place while I slowly work him down and make sure he's all good. I think he's going to be pretty close. And you got to do it in little sections just to make sure it doesn't shift, right? Oh, thank you. It is a little dark for me, though. It's usually like my winter color when my skin is when my skin is a little paler. I don't mind it, but now that I'm tanned, I like to have the lighter hair. This is about as tanned as I get too. Let's get his paw right into position here. Okay, so he is on, and he's not too bad. What do you think? Can you see how much more he pops now? Now, if you have little spots that bother you, here's where you get into the really fussy stuff. So, let's look. The tip of his tail has a little bit too much white right there. Okay. Around this part of his paw has a little too much white for me. So then I take my other square that I haven't used. Even though it's a backwards one, like it actually matches the other one, right? See how it's the opposite? So I couldn't have used him anyways for this project. But I can go in there with the water pen and I can grab a little more hair from him. So this part here, I know I want a fringe of hair coming out on that side. So I'm just going to take a little section of hair off of his buttocks. It's like, what do you call that when you take fat from your Botox or from one spot and stick it somewhere else on you? So I can take that and my Mod Podge. I'm going to need a little more Mod Podge. And once you do this, you're not even going to see where you've done little touch-ups like this, okay? So just the tiniest bit. I stick my fingers in everything. I do apologize for that if it bothers people, but. And then you can take this hair. And you can just tack it down. And then you can see that paw. It's a little bit thicker, but it doesn't have any white around it. So I'm going to do the same thing around this part of his body down here. Again, I want it from this side, because it's this side of him, so I want the hair going in the right direction. So I'll just take another little chunk of his tushy. Got a little too much white on there, so I'm just going to remove that white. Go. And then I can take the Mod Podge again. And just stick a little bit down that side. I'm going to take a tiny bit of fur from a foot. So it's a little more fussy. It wasn't bad. Like, you could leave it how it was. I'm just a little picky, I guess. little bit on his tail. Also, if I would have painted it, now that I'm thinking this, if I would have painted it in cream, that probably wouldn't have showed up at all. If I would have matched it closer to the puppy's fur, the color that I painted over the whole dog, that would have worked probably better. See, I'm always thinking. My wheels are always turning on how to make things better. There we go. Tiny, tiny spot right there in his neck. And it's kind of a light color. So I'm just going to grab another little piece from down here. And this is basically, if you ever get a little hole or something that bugs you in your piece, this is how you fix it. Just little spots, and you tap them into place. Now that there, I'm going to have to say that is, that has got to be white paint. But everywhere else, look at that. You can't see any of the white in behind now. He's kind of got that floofy hair going on. I think it turned out awesome. Just that blue spot is going to bug me. So here's how I fix up stuff like that. I'm just going to grab a little paintbrush. I'm going to smudge it on there. I'm going to put on my glasses again too. Okay. And then I use my finger and I just kind of blend it in a bit. Dry it, and then I'll do another coat. Because I really don't want a brush stroke there. So I'd rather just finger paint it on and see how it's lightly darkening it up. I would rather do layers like this than to have a big brush stroke on there. The other option is if you don't want to get your fingers in there. Let me get this on first. If you don't want to get your fingers in there, grab a stiff brush. A clean stiff brush after, and just rub that over top. And you can see it's slowly getting darker. And then once I put the top coat on after, it should blend in pretty good. But that's what I do, guys. Oops, that's the wrong brush. And perhaps I'm just too picky on this, but I like it to look. Got going on up there. I got a little spot up there too or something. Okay. I'm kind of picky with stuff. Sometimes if I'm in a rush during a live, I don't do this on the live part. I jump off, and usually I would tell people in the sorority what I'm doing after, because I don't want to be, you know, like leading people astray. But I do like it to look really good after. Try not to get it all over me. You just need a couple specks in there just to make it all blend. I'm getting it all over me, but it's not flipping. Oops, that might be a little much. There we go. And if I can put a little fleck up there. I gotta balance it out. Much, much better. Except for I kind of like that big dot. Let's see. Can you see what I'm talking about? I've got a big 2 dots down there, and I like that better. So, I'll grab a teeny, 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 tiny brush. And I'll just balance it out up here. I don't really want it like polka dots. I just want the occasional brighter fleck on there. I think that looks gorgeous. And then you just let it dry and then do a couple coats of top coat on there. And that is it. That is all. So, which one would you be more interested in doing? If you're working on a dark surface, which way would you do it? Would you be more into the fussy cutting? He looks good, but see what I mean by he's just a little more blunt, the lines? Or, although he's kind of got a, he's got a funny piece going to it right there. Just a second. Just a second. Let's see what we can do there. That paint, it's not going to wash off easily. This hasn't been top coated yet, so. Water pen. So until you've top coated them, you can still play around with his fur a little bit. And I think this is where it gets away from crafting and becoming into art. Okay, that's much better. His fur is just a little more natural there. He's still got a weird tuft there, but that's just the way his hair is. Although it does kind of drive me nuts. Let's see. If I took a little piece out of there. Haha, much better. Much better. I fixed the hole in his head. I didn't like that. See, this one's almost like cartoony. And this one looks a little more natural, like it just kind of blends in. Yeah, you'd have to learn patience. Yeah, you do have to have patience. Anyways, and then at this point, I have to walk away. Otherwise, I will sit there and play around with it way too much. But doesn't that fix up the hole in his head much better? You could do a second layer on there if you really wanted to, but I think that's going to be okay. Let's try it. Let's try it, because it's going to bug me. Now I'm being a bit of a perfectionist. Oh, that's too hard. I don't need much. Okay, so guys, I still have one project that I didn't get a chance to do with you that I really wanted to do. So I might jump on. I don't know what tomorrow looks like yet. It might be tomorrow or maybe the next day. But we haven't done the candle. We've done it in the sorority, but we haven't done a candle. Did anybody need to see how to do a candle, or does everybody know that now? There. Much, much better. So what do you think? Are you impressed? Was this worth signing up for, learning how to do it on a dark surface? You want to see the candle? Okay. So it's something that I will jump back on. You'll probably end up watching on a replay because I don't have a way to alert all of you. So, other than, make a post and say, hey, in, 15 minutes, I'll come on and show you how to do the candle. I can make a post like that. Other than that, I got no way to let you know. Totally impressed? Okay. Okay. I love it. Telegram. Do we have... I don't know if Telegram will... I have so many Telegrams now, guys. We've got Telegram for the sorority. We've got Telegram for... oh, thank you so much, Kathy. Telegram for the regular... for the regular page. I don't think we have everybody in Telegram for this. But the candle that I'm going to do is, I was at the Salvation Army thrift store because I've been looking for candles, guys, and they're getting harder to find without spending a fortune. I found this beauty. He's short and he's stubby. Oh, do I have Telegram for this? Okay. If I would have known that, I would have used it. I'm sorry. I found this short, stubby candle. It smells nice. It's from Home Trends, and I got it for $1.25. So that's the one that I'm going to decoupage. Now, what I didn't check is, let's just say for the sake of a napkin, it probably won't be this one on there, but I'm just curious if it's the size that's going to fit perfectly around it. Oh, it does. It fits perfectly around it. Okay. That's a perfect size candle, guys. If you have one that's smaller, you just have to watch how it's going to overlap. If you have one that's bigger, then you're pretty much going to have to cut and paste and do a kind of like a collage pattern on it instead. But this one actually is perfect for doing a whole wrap of one. So, it can be done with the battery operated candles too. We've done that before. Do I have one handy? Yeah. This is the one we did at Easter time. And we even added some bling to it. But this is a battery operated one. As long as it's wax. You saw 6 of the battery operated ones? And were they smooth? Because I did... I had mentioned to a friend of ours that I needed one, and she brought me back this one quite a while ago. She brought me back this one, but it's got too much texture. See all that like wood grain loins to it? It's way too much texture for it. Oh, yeah, you want to snatch those up, man. I don't know when I'll be in Ottawa next to go grab those. But you should grab those. Get them out as gifts. I hope to get to Kingston over the next couple weeks. I've got to take Maya for some school shopping, and that's closer to us than Ottawa. So I can't wait to check out the thrift stores, because I know when it comes to the Christmas sales and stuff, I'll be able to sell candles off like crazy. And if I can buy them in thrift stores and then do them, why does it have to be wax? Well, that's a secret. Because we're literally going to melt the napkin into it. That's why it's got to be wax. Otherwise, you're just Mod Podging on it. This is going to be literally melted inside. Now, I personally would not burn them afterwards if you're using one like this. Some people say they do, but I'd be a little worried on if it would catch on fire. And if I'm worried about something catching on fire, that kind of tells you something, because I usually don't have a fear of that. But that's it. That's all, guys. Did we have fun? I've got to also do up the other ends. We didn't do those ends. You know what we're going to be doing sometime soon inside the sorority? Because I got the sorority members all in here right now. They got free membership to this. We got this clock. It was $15. And if I would have noticed that it had a boo-boo to it, I probably would have talked them down, because this was at Value Village. But I didn't even notice it's missing a board. But anyways, it's going to be a good one to practice on. Maya says she still wants it afterwards anyways. We're going to paint this up, and we're going to decoupage it. And it's going to look so cute. So we're going to be working on that in the sorority at some point. Hopefully soon. I've also got jewelry boxes. So this is, guys, just to let you know, if you're in the sorority and you're out thrifting, keep an eye out on these kind of things. Let me pick them up. I picked up some of these. So I got a little jewelry box that we're going to decoupage and make all pretty. Or we could do transfers on it. And then I got the big one. They're a little funky inside. I got to clean them up still. But I think if I wash them all down, and we'll see how good it comes. If not, we're going to have to paint the insides. But this one seemed to be in pretty good shape. So we're going to do jewelry boxes. And we're going to do that clock. There was something else we were going to do. We're going to do a hat, if I can find a nice one. Got all kinds of goodies coming up inside the sorority. So, for the next 2 or 3 days, let's say today is what, Wednesday? It's Friday. If you want to join the sorority, it is open. We do have a couple spaces left. Mel already joined today. There is a couple spaces still left, but we're going to close that back up on Friday because it's not open to the public. It's just, I just opened it up for you guys if anyone wanted to come over and do some more decoupaging with us, along with a lot of other stuff. We have a super cool epoxy project to try. It's in my head. I've never seen it done. I'm hoping it'll work out. It's going to be fabulous if it works out. We have all kinds of goodies to do. So starting next week, we will be back in the sorority. I think, if it's okay with you ladies, are you going live tomorrow night? Yeah, tomorrow night I'm live in Craft Around the Clock, I think. On our regular page at the top, there should be a schedule pinned. I think tomorrow night is Craft Around the Clock. I'm looking for cigar boxes too, but I can't find any. The sorority meets once a week. And yes, the replays are in there. Mel, you can even go in there and you can watch all our sorority meetings that we have in there already. Now that you're in there, you can watch anything that's already in there. I did start organizing some of them by the month so that you can find them easier. Or you can just stroll down and see what they are. I do have to do the last couple and get them in the right spots inside the guides. But I'm trying to organize that to make it a little bit easier for you and also give you titles so that you know what it's about. But I'm working on that. But yeah, you can watch all the sorority meetings. All the replays are in there. So you can see how we did a candle already in there. What else was really good that we did in there? We've done so much stuff. But yeah, check those out. We meet once a week. Typically, it's been Tuesday nights at 7:45, but I think we're going to have to switch because I have grandsons in soccer on Tuesday nights. So we're going to have to go to Mondays or Wednesdays, and I'm thinking maybe Wednesdays. Yeah, titles are good, right? It's kind of helpful. I think we might go Wednesdays if it's okay with all the ladies. Does Wednesday work with you guys? You can shoot me a message if you have a problem with it. But I think next week we're going to try for Wednesday. And we'll see how that goes. Alrighty. So if anyone has any questions, shoot me a message. Mel, unfortunately, I don't know what's up with your messenger, but if you shoot me a message, I have no way to get back to you. Jamie says Wednesdays work. Wednesday's good with Wendy. Wednesday works for Mavis. Okay, Wednesday night it is, I think. Cheryl, I don't think has a problem with Wednesday nights. Other than tonight, she's not here because she had family over. I think she's good with Wednesdays. And I haven't heard anything yet from anybody contradicting that Wednesdays don't work, but we'll check it out for next week and we'll see how it works. Elaine says it works. Yeah, I think Elaine, you told me before Monday and Wednesday it didn't matter. I think. It'll be 7:45. 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. And sometimes it's an hour long and sometimes we carry on a little longer than that depending on what the project is. But typically we say it's 1 hour once a week. I can't think of anything else to tell you. Because Martha's in there too. Martha, you can go back and you can watch all the replays. Check up on all the goodies. All right, and it does come out automatic payment every month at the beginning of the month. Mel and Martha, because you signed up right now, I'm going to have to make sure that it's not going to... because today's the what? What is today's date? Are we before? Okay. Payments will come out on the 1st. Oh, Judy. I didn't know you were still... For some reason, I didn't see your name in here. Have you been here the whole time, Judy? Am I getting old and scatterbrained? Judy says it's good. Perfect. Okay. Depending on how off topic we get, yeah. Okay, so yeah, payments come out on the 1st. It comes out automatically. I think that's it. That's all. I got nothing else. I'm glad you love this. I'm so glad. Because I really could not sleep the first night. Knowing I go live all the time and it doesn't bug me. But this one bugged me because you guys were actually paying for the class. And I was like, oh, it better go good. It better go good. So there was lots of prayers, lots of planning, and a lack of sleep. Oh, thank you so much for joining us. And so I will pop in either tomorrow or the next day, depending on how things go, and we'll do that candle. It'll be your bonus extra class. And my throat's starting to crackle again. So until then, good night, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you guys come and join us in the sorority. Aw, thank you. Okay, I gotta go have supper. Bye, guys.